This is the drive shaft assembly. Create a new document in your RRBot folder and name it Drive Shaft Assembly. Rename Assembly 1 Drive Shaft Assembly as well. Make sure you have selected the Assembly tab and not the Part Studio tab. Insert your parts by going to Insert, Other Documents, and then Public. Search Rev Shaft Stuff Library and insert 4 3mm spacers, 3 through-bore bearings, 2 shaft collars, and a 5mm by 90mm hex shaft. Directly click on the check mark after selecting the hex shaft and fix it at the origin. Next, insert from the Rev Gear Sprocket library. Insert the 10-tooth number 25 sprocket. Next, insert from the Rev Wheel library. Insert the 90mm Omni wheel from the Assemblies tab. Create a fastened mate between the collar and the hex shaft, and rotate the collar so the set screw is on a flat edge of the shaft. Mate the Omni wheel to the collar and rotate it so it is properly aligned on the shaft. Mate the through-bore bearing to the Omni wheel with the smaller side facing the wheel. Flip and rotate it as needed. This is what your drive shaft assembly should look like so far. Mate another through-bore bearing to the one already on the hex shaft with the smaller side facing the other through-bore bearing. Flip or rotate it as needed so it is properly aligned on the shaft. Check the mate between your 2 through-bore bearings to make sure they don't overlap. Mate the 3mm spacer to the through-bore bearing. Mate a sprocket to the 3mm spacer. Again, flip and rotate the sprocket as needed so it is properly aligned on the shaft. Next, mate the shaft collar to the sprocket, and again, rotate the shaft collar so its set screw is on a flat edge of the shaft. Next, create a fastened mate between the hex shaft and a 3mm spacer. Mate the other 2 3mm spacers onto the hex shaft as well. After we have finished assembling our shaft assemblies and our ultra-planetary gearbox assembly, we will move on to the drive rail assembly. We are using Omni wheels in our RRBot. They have rollers mounted around the outside, which rotate at 90 degrees. This allows your robot to strafe. And now your drive shaft assembly is finished.